Treasure hunt. Vocabulary. Money. 1A. Read the money questionnaire. What do you think the words in bold mean? Vocabulary. 8.1 Pronouncing the letter S. Underline each example of the letter S in the words in bold in the questionnaire. How many ways is it pronounced? Listen and check.
Unit 8. Money. Recording 1.
Maggie and Joe Smith lived in the same house for 50 years. When Maggie was 86 years old, Joe died. The house was very big, so Maggie decided to move. She sold the house to a businessman called David Jones. A few weeks later, Maggie was at the hairdresser when she heard someone say that the new owner, David Jones, had found some money in her old house. She contacted Mr. Jones. He told her there was $10,000 hidden in the wall. Then he said they could share the money, $5,000 for him and $5,000 for her. She agreed. A few days later, Mr. Jones visited Maggie Smith. He had a contract. The contract said that Maggie Smith should agree to accept $5,000 for any money found in or around the house. Mrs. Smith thought this was very strange. She didn't sign it. In fact, she took Mr. Jones to court. In court, Mr. Jones told the truth. There wasn't $10,000. There was $150,000 in the walls, mainly in $50 or $100 notes. Joe Smith, Maggie's husband, was putting money in the wall for 50 years, and he never told his wife. So, what happened in the end? The judge decided that Maggie Smith should get all of the money. David Jones got nothing.
D. How do you say the letter S in these words? Measure, earns, tips, profession, credit cards, lens, imposter, souvenir. How do you earn, save and spend your money? 1. Do you usually pay by cash or credit card when you buy things? 2. Do you ever lend money to family or friends? Why not? 3. Have you ever borrowed a lot of money? What for? For how many notes or coins do you have in your pocket at the moment? 5. In your country, how much do you tip waiters? 6. Which 3 people do you think earn the most money in your country? 7. Have you ever invested money in something? 8. Who pays the bills where you live? 9. Which of your possessions is worth the most to you? 10. Have you ever thought of hunting for treasure? Page 158. Photobank. Photobank. Lesson 8.1 Money. 1. Match photos AH to the words. 1. Bank statement. F. 2. Check. G. 3. Notes. C. 4. ATM. E. 5. Credit cards. B. 6. Coins. A. 7. Bill. H. 8. Receipt. D. 2. Work in pairs and take turns. Student A. Describe an item. Student B. Guess the item. A. This is money made from metal. B. Coins. Reading. 2A. Discuss the questions. Hidden treasure. In 1988, U.S. millionaire Forrest Fenn was diagnosed with cancer. Thinking that his life was nearly over, he wanted to leave something to the world. Then he had a rather interesting idea. He decided to fill a wooden chest with treasure and hide it. He included old gold coins, ancient animal figures, and antique jewelry, all covered in gold dust, and left the chest somewhere in the desert, probably in New Mexico, where he lives. Then he published his autobiography and included in it a poem which contained clues about where the treasure was hidden. Against all expectations, Fenn recovered from cancer, so he has lived to see the success of his plan. He says his idea was to provide people with an adventure, hunting outside, with the chance of getting rich. He loves stories and adventures, and he clearly enjoys the attention his plan has brought him. Every few months he releases a new clue, just to keep treasure hunters interested. It seems it is working. He has received more than 13,000 emails from people that want more clues, as well as 18 marriage proposals. There are blogs that describe Fenn's treasure hunt, and tourism in the area has increased, thanks to people who want to find the chest. Fenn was originally from a poor family in Texas. As a child, he spent his summers in Yellowstone National Park, which is where he first discovered his love of the outdoors. After a career in the Air Force, he eventually opened an art gallery in Santa Fe, making his money by buying and selling paintings. He also became known for organizing amazing parties which were attended by all kinds of famous people. Now he lives with his wife, happily looking on as treasure hunters arrive in his hometown. Do you know any true stories or films that involved hunting for treasure? Raiders of the Lost Ark, Pirates of the Caribbean. The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, Three Kings. 2. The man in the photo was very rich and very ill. What is his connection with the treasure chest? Guess, and tell your partner. Read to find out. The man expected to die and wanted to leave something behind for the public to search for, so he hid the treasure chest. B. Discuss in pairs. What are the connections between 1988 and Fenn hiding the treasure? He was diagnosed with cancer in 1988. He wanted to leave something for the world after his death, so he hid the treasure chest. 2. A poem in Fenn's autobiography, and the treasure chest. The poem contained clues to help readers find the treasure chest. 3. New clues, and tourism in the area. When he releases new clues, every few months, more people come to look for the treasure, so this increases tourism in the area. For 13,000 and 18. He has received over 13,000 emails from people who want more clues, and 18 marriage proposals. 5. The Air Force, and an art gallery. He was in the Air Force before he opened an art gallery. C. What do you think of Fenn's treasure hunt? Do you like the idea? Why not? Grammar. Relative clauses. Read sentences 1 to 5 and complete the rules below. 1. He included a poem which contained clues. 2. There are blogs that describe Fenn's treasure hunt. 3. Tourism has increased, thanks to people who want to find the chest. 4. He has received more than 13,000 emails from people that want more clues. 5. He probably hid it in New Mexico, where he lives. Hidden treasure. In 1988, U.S. millionaire Forrest Fenn was diagnosed with cancer. Thinking that his life was nearly over, he wanted to leave something to the world. Then he had a rather interesting idea. He decided to fill a wooden chest with treasure and hide it. He included old gold coins, ancient animal figures, and antique jewelry, all covered in gold dust, and left the chest somewhere in the desert, probably in New Mexico, where he lives. Then he published his autobiography and included in it a poem which contained clues about where the treasure was hidden. Against all expectations, Fenn recovered from cancer, so he has lived to see the success of his plan. He says his idea was to provide people with an adventure, hunting outside, with the chance of getting rich. He loves stories and adventures, and he clearly enjoys the attention his plan has brought him. Every few months he releases a new clue, just to keep treasure hunters interested. It seems it is working. He has received more than 13,000 emails from people that want more clues, as well as 18 marriage proposals. There are blogs that describe Fen's treasure hunt, and tourism in the area has increased, thanks to people who want to find the chest. Fen was originally from a poor family in Texas. As a child, he spent his summers in Yellowstone National Park, which is where he first discovered his love of the outdoors. After a career in the Air Force, he eventually opened an art gallery in Santa Fe, making his money by buying and selling paintings. He also became known for organizing amazing parties which were attended by all kinds of famous people. Now he lives with his wife, happily looking on as treasure hunters arrive in his hometown. Rules. Relative clauses tell you which thing, person, or place we are talking about. What a thing, person, or place is or does. Use which or that for things. Use who or for that for people. Use where for places. Page 142 Language Bank. 8. 8.1 Language Bank. Grammar. Relative clauses. Use relative clauses to talk about what a person, place, or thing is, or does. This is the machine which we used to make the copies. He's the man who helped us. Also use relative clauses to explain which one we are talking about. She's the girl who has green eyes. That's the town where I was born. Use who for a person. He's the doctor who looked after your grandmother. Use where for a place. This is the city where she grew up. We can use which that when we are defining a place. Paris is the city which I'd like to visit the most. Use which for a thing. This is the knife which the killer used. It is possible to use that instead of which or who. She's the girl that lives next door. This is the machine that we used to make the copies. When we define something by using a relative clause, we use the, not an. It's a car. We used it at the weekend. It's the car that we used at the weekend. 8.1 Practice. Rewrite the two sentences as one sentence. Use the prompts and relative clauses. 1. Laguna is a town. I spent my holidays there. Laguna is the town where I spent my holidays. 2. Did you get the present? I sent it to you last week. Did you get the present which that I sent you last week? 3. Burnham Place is a restaurant. You can watch the chefs make your food there. Burnham Place is the restaurant where you can watch the chefs make your food. 4. Geek Store is a shop. It sells cheap iPods and mobiles. Geek Store is the shop which that sells cheap iPods and mobiles. 5. Nicola Leeson is an accountant. She helped me complete my tax form. Nicola Leeson is the accountant who that helped me complete my tax form. 6. Corleone is a town. I learnt how to do business there. Corleone is the town where I learnt to do business. 7. A man invested the money. He was a criminal. The man who that invested the money was a criminal. B. Match the endings in the box to 1 to 6 and write relative clauses. You need to cut some words. You study there. She lends me. It sells insurance. He borrows $1 million to buy a horse. She was working as a chef. We went on our honeymoon. 1. A school is a place where you study. 2. The film is about a man who that borrows $1 million to buy a horse. 3. I work for a company which that sells insurance. 4. I always give back the money which that she lends me. 5. What happened to that girl who that was working as a chef? 6. The Bahamas is the place where we went on our honeymoon. 4. I read sentences 1 to 3 below. Which things in the box do they describe? Casino, inventor, library, wallet, DVD player, investor, bank, credit card. 1. It's a place where you go to win money. Casino. 2. It's a thing that you use when you want to pay without cash. Credit card. 3. It's a person who creates new things. Inventor. B. Use the prompts below to write definitions for the other things in the box above. 1. Place people look after your money. It's a place where people look after your money. Bank. 2. Thing use carry money and credit cards. It's a thing that which you use to carry money and credit cards. Wallet. 3. Person gives money to a product or business to make more money. It's a person who that gives money to a product or business to make more money. Investor. For place you go borrow books. It's a place where you go to borrow books. Library. 5. Thing use watch films. It's a thing that which you use to watch films. DVD player. C. Work in pairs. Student A, Turn 2. Page 164. Student B, turn to page 167. Speaking. 5. Work in pairs. Read about what some super rich people do with their money, and discuss the questions. 1. Which projects donations do you think are the most useful for the world? 2. Are there any that you think are not especially useful? Why? 3. Do you know of any other super rich people who do interesting things with their money? B. If you had billions of dollars to invest in something interesting or useful, what project would you start? Think about who it would help, where you would do it, and how long it would last. What interesting things do the super rich do with their money? Amazon boss, Jeff Bezos, is building an enormous clock inside a mountain. The clock is designed to last 10,000 years. TV star, Oprah Winfrey, built a school in South Africa to educate girls from poor families. Economist, Mohammed Yunus, founded Grayman Bank, which gives small loans to the poor to start businesses. Richard Branson is working to send tourists into space. His company, Virgin Galactic, has spent millions developing commercial spaceships for transporting tourists.